way, please.
Okay, remember these are going to be for either one of you two, whoever wants to answer, okay? Let me know, let's do it.
Waiting for speed. He's saying give them a
What about that silly music in the background?
That's okay.
I knew that.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah, we got to go with the music. Okay.
If you can turn it off, I'd love to, but that's in the park.
It's a park thing. Okay,
let's just go.
Okay, here we go. Stand by.
And we're watching you no matter what.
You know,
Right.
I'm going
No
to
looking
You're
into
going to
the
be walking
camera.
around me. So I want you to be looking at me.
No looking
Okay, I'm
into
going to
the
stand back
camera.
here, and I want you to and he'll walk in front of me.
Hold on 1 second. We got one little problem video-wise.
Yeah, there's two ugly guys in front of the camera. We got some video problem.
Okay. Speeding.
Let's go. All right, here we go. Okay, guys, what was the wildest personal appearance you've ever made?
Well,
Do me a favor, one thing. If I ask a question, if you're going to respond, try to include the question in the
wildest-
answer.
Everyone on a walkie, please turn them off. Everyone on a walkie, please
What was
turn
the
them
wildest personal appearance you've ever made?
what was the wildest personal
off.
appearance?
Beepers on vibrate.
Probably the wildest thing that ever happened to us was going to Brazil. And most of the time when we traveled around the world, people have told us how big we are in the countries. But when we got to Brazil, we did shows in stadiums, the biggest being 200,000 people. The smallest, which was the intimate show, we did 65,000 people. So it was pretty humbling to have military in front of you with guard dogs and be led in a military procession. It was pretty much the wildest thing that's happened to us.
What's the strangest request you've ever received from a fan?
The strangest request was having to do with a baby and a lady who didn't mind if I gave her one. That was pretty strange.
Oh boy.
I declined.
What's the most unusual gift you've ever received?
Most unusual gift. The baby.
Yeah, the imaginary baby. We get so many gifts all the time that it's hard to say what the best is. You know, obviously you can always make up stories or tell things about women and rock and roll and partying, but I think the best thing and the biggest gift we've ever gotten is 20 years of doing what we do. And that comes from the people, and that comes from their heart and soul. So that's a little more important than, you know, we can talk about, oh, there's so many women. Any idiot can get a woman when they're on tour, but this is a lot more important and a lot more heartfelt than the bragging about the other stuff.
Would you cut? Hold on 1 second. Cut this off for a second. Would you stop cutting me down in front of the camera? I didn't go for that shit.
Go on.
I don't know. All of a sudden, like whatever I say, all of a sudden, don't listen to this idiot. Don't do that anymore.
Go on.
What was the first time you realized what effect you had on your fans?
Probably the first time happened in New York City when we first got together. We were opening up for local groups that never really made it, and immediately we knew because, I mean, in the beginning we were just playing rock and roll and didn't really have a sense of what it really was, and then we saw the effect it had on the people, and then we immediately knew this is big, this is going to happen fast.
When you first started out, who were your own idols? When you first started, who were you looking up to in the way of music?
Well, there was so much happening with music. I think obviously Elvis and stuff like that has been an influence, but I think more importantly, if you go back further, you get to the blues and stuff like that. And if you're going to be influenced by rock and roll, you got to go back a little further. So obviously you got Elvis, you got the Beatles, but you also have Howlin' Wolf, you have Muddy Waters, you have people who really wrote the book that everything's based on. Then obviously you get the Who, Led Zeppelin, things like that, but your homework's important.
Did you ever have your clothes stolen?
I gave my clothes willingly. They didn't have to be stolen.
Every once in a while the trucks would wind up in the wrong city, whatever, but it doesn't really matter. You get up on stage and do the show anyway with whatever you're wearing. But, you know, in the beginning when we were doing 6-7 days a week of touring consistently, you know, sometimes the truck would veer off and wind up in Timbuktu. It doesn't matter though.
What are your fan letters like?
Our fan letters are typical of any other band. we get letters from women, we get all that kind of stuff, but we also get stuff about how we've influenced people, how they wouldn't be doing what they're doing now if it hadn't been for us. We get letters from, you know, you name it, from lawyers, from doctors, and these aren't ones who are sending bills either. So it's it really runs the gamut.
Do fans ever try to meet you in devious ways?
Yeah, you will meet members of your family that you never knew existed. You'll meet brothers, sisters that you never knew you had. And in fact, one show I actually had a security guy standing in front of me with a guy, a teenage guy, who was saying, "It's Bob. It's your brother, Bob." I don't have any brother, Bob.
How many hours a week do you devote to creating music?
I think music is something that is in your blood, and even when you're not playing and even when you're not writing, you're kind of like building up a reservoir of stuff to write about. I don't really work by the clock. The reason I got into music in the first place was so that I wouldn't have to punch a clock. This is something that can happen any hour of the day or night. It's really, you're on call 24 hours a day for inspiration, however it comes.
Have your fans ever got past your security, and if so, what happened?
It happens. It happens a lot, in fact. And our security have standing orders to treat them as nicely as they can, because without our fans, we wouldn't be here. And it's not just a phrase we throw around. And as you can tell, fans are right here. There's no big deal. I mean, we respect them, and they respect us. And adulation is one thing, but being mistreated is another. It's not a problem.
Do you have any airport stories? Anything memorable ever happened in an airport?
Memorable things happen in airplanes, but, you know, in airports, you know, you get snowed in, you wind up sleeping on a seat, waiting to get a plane. You know, you're in between flights, but airport stories, I don't know.
Let me see this. Is there anybody left in the music industry that you would still like to meet or you'd still like to play with?
I have a feeling at some point I'm going to meet Elvis, but that's not going to be for a while yet.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You want us to leave the song?
Thank
No.
you. Yeah, I want to, yeah.